Hello, so what we have here is another drum programming quick session, except it's audio, not MIDI. So this would be an example if maybe you don't want to use MIDI, or maybe you don't have MIDI, or a good patch to use MIDI, any application you need to use audio or want to use audio instead of MIDI for programming. I'm going to do the same thing as the last lesson on the drum tutorial in the MIDI, which is to take a straight file and try and work with it to try and make it sound a little bit more realistic. In this case, it might not sound more realistic just because of the patches that I've got. I haven't really got any realistic audio patches because I use MIDI. So what I have is a mixture of a few EDM patches that I've got lying around that would work. Or kind of work. So let's see what I've got here. So I've got 2 kicks, 2 snares, and a couple of hats, and a ride cymbal to kind of act as a hat, because I didn't really have any open hats. That's my limitations. I will work with it and see what I can do. Let's see what I've got. Let's kick 1, kick 2, and then the snares. I'll just go through them all. Okay, there's a reason why I have 2 kicks and 2 snares. They're slightly different. What you typically can do with audio, or should do with audio anyway, is layer them. So I like the lower notes of this, and I like the full range of this. So I will mix the two later down the line. Same with the snares. Hats, it's just good to have a variation, so it's not the same thing over and over again, because unlike MIDI, you can't change the velocity of audio. What you can do is only change the volume. Not much else you can do bar using some plugins or something to try and simulate that. The easiest thing is to get similar sounding patches and use them interchangeably rather than having the same one over and over and over again. Because, well, just for a straight example of that, if I show you this, make this 1 bar long. Already ruined it. Okay. That's going to get real old real fast. So what you can do is swap those out for something, whoops, like this. Again, that's going to get real old real fast, so you would get more than that, but that would sound a little bit better with some editing than just having the same thing over and over again. At least there's a variety in that. And then you could, the more loops you have, the more chance you've got to change it up. Anyway, so let's get into this. So what I've made using just these, I will keep these for now. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just create a track stack with that. And let's just unmute this. So without using the other ones I have, I'm just going to put this at the top. Without using the without using the spare kicks and snares, I have made sounds kind of similar to what we had in the other drum programming session, which is what I wanted. And it's basically how you can lay stuff out to sound like that. So what I've got is some hi-hats going over and over again. Got a spare one in there to a little bit of variation. I've got my ride acting as a open hat. So this is actually longer than this. But I don't want that overlap between these two. So if I just close this, it sounds like it gets cut off, which means it'd be like a hat. It's kind of getting closed off. The main issue I can already tell with this is volume. The stuff that just doesn't make sense here, like that hat is way too loud. If I take this down, turn this one up and this one down, let's see what we get. Still too much. Let's turn that down more, turn that down more. See how big that difference is? That's better. Okay, my hats are on the same page now. And I'll do a bit more. So, in the interest of variation with the hats, what I can do, throw this one around. Maybe one in there. Let's add one on there and here, and I'll replace that. Keep them, that's fine. Do some of that. So again, that's so much better than just having the same over and over and over. And the more times I have this looped, the more little bits of differences I can put in here to kind of flare it up a little bit. The other thing we can do, like I said, is volume. So maybe I want this one to be quieter than this one. Like that. And maybe I want these two to be doing quieter. And maybe I want the second one to be much quieter. Nice. So what I can do as well is, for the rough guide, you can go and do individually like I've done here, or you can just simply do one of these jobs and see what comes out. That's adding a bit of variation. That volume is a little bit too quiet. I want this one to be quieter. You see, as that loops now, you can enjoy it more. It obviously will get boring eventually, but I can enjoy that far more than I would if it was just straight hi-hats over and over again. All we've done, a couple of little changes in the layout. So we've added two similar hats, mixed them in together, mixed the audio together so it's all nice and level, or near enough, so they sound similar in volume. And then all we've done is gone in and changed the automation. I press A. I use hotkeys for most stuff. A for that, but it is up here. You can change the automation up there. So yeah, so we've just done that. Done a little bit of automation. That's the start done. Let's take a listen to the snares and do the same thing. Actually, before that, what I'll do is let's get into editing this stuff. So let's do the kick first. I've got two kicks here. I can shorten this down. Right, so what I've got here is I like the low end of this kick. So I want more of this. I'm just going to do a quick rough EQ on this kick because I want to why isn't this doing well? Oh. And then I want to take all of the top. Just want that punch. And then I need to do this kick. I want to get rid of, for reference, I can have my other one up here. I think here somewhere it's going to blend in with the hat a little bit, or the snare. but I like those two. Not massively, but you know, it's for the sake of experiment. It sounds fine. I want to turn this one down a little bit. Because I want to hear the punch more than this. Because I think this is going to start clashing with other stuff. When you look at your stereo out, if you are peaking, if you see this going red, it's not a problem. That's something you can fix later on in the mix. Unless it sounds distorted, do not worry about it. You should never bounce the finished track, skyrocketing into the red in your final mix. Just anything shouldn't be into the red, really. But for the sake of making the track, don't mess around with that. It's fine. Do that later. Because you can always turn it down, you know? Nice. I'm going to keep that for now, just basics. So now you know about the EQing. Let's do the same thing for the snare. Let's see what we like about each one of these. Oh, let's move this along. Okay, so I like the bite of this, I guess. Let's find that. Yeah, that's there. Okay, so we want to express that and turn the rest down. Don't like the... Yeah. Okay, I just want that. And a mouse. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a lower... I like the high of this. And there's no need to have any low. Okay, now let's listen. Just kick and snare. Immediately, got some volume problems. Let's get a loop. Let's find out which one of these I like better. Okay, let's add it all together. So let's turn these down a little bit. You see, I'm going into the red here, but I'm not worried about it. It's fine, not a problem. We can fix that later. I'm happy with that. So now, let's really give this another go. And I'm just going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to take the EQ. Am I going to take... Let's leave the EQ for now. And I want to try and do ghost notes. This is going to be a little bit tricky with just audio. I want to go the other. Let's see what happens if I play this. Okay, not the worst thing in the world. Could be better. Let's duplicate this stuff. Take one out here. Add one in here. One here. And no ghost notes at the end. All right. Now, let's turn this down. Okay. Volume. I want this to get louder on the snares and quieter in between, almost nothing. Let's see how that sounds. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to do, let's go crazy And let's really mix this up and see what we like and what we don't like. Oh, going. Turn down. So same again. I want all the volume towards the hit, and I want almost nothing in between. In betwixt. Sounds fine to me. So let's just compare that with what we had here. So if I just quickly okay, let's try the new one. So I think these are a little bit too loud, but in terms of realism, definitely sounds a little bit more real. Again, I don't think it sounds better, it's different. So if you want a more real approach, this is not it. Michael Jackson Thriller. This one sounds a bit more real. Listening to that, I actually prefer these ghost notes over the other ones. So let's add more of these. Don't copy. Oops. It's here. Oh, that's going to happen every time. Turn these down more. Turn these up. Nice. So that's fine. Yeah, so in terms of realism, yeah, there's a difference there. One is better than the other, depending on the application. If I was doing Michael Jackson Thriller, that's much better. That's what I want. If I was doing some sort of, I don't know, bluesy, Eric Clapton guitar-y, I don't know how I'm talking about. Anyway, it sounds a little bit more realistic, that. So more flares that you can add is some changing of the kicks. Let's do a double kick. Yeah. Let's not have a kick here. Let's have a late, let's have a late kick. See what that sounds like. I want the double kick here instead. What I could do even is put this in here. Don't like it. I might actually add another snare. But not that one. Let's try that one. Let's actually put in one of these as well. No, I'd like that. I think it's fine just like that. Editing too much here. That's fine. Okay, so got a little bit more flair there. Last thing I can quickly add is some reverb. If I open up my Fix the window here. Yeah, what I want to do on all of these, add, yeah, on all of these I want to add a bus, number 1, and then my bus 1 will be my room reverb. And I will add where even is it? Reverb. Let's just do chroma verb because I like the look of it. Okay, let's just put a preset on. I want a... Oh, there we go. Let's just do a studio drums room. See if it is what it says. So now I'm going to play it and increase the reverb. I'll go really high to show what it does and go down from there. Okay, now I've got that. What I'm going to do now, yeah, let's do it. For the sake of doing it, let's do snare. My speakers are just turned off. Snare number 1 and 2 to a new bus. This one is going to be snare. Amazing naming. Add another one of these, and let's see what we've got here. Let's try a punchy room. And let's go to the snares, and we'll do the same again. I need to turn my speakers back on now. Oh, that's them on now. Okay, let's add some reverb. Alright, let's look at it. You shouldn't really look at what you're doing, but I like the color of it, so... Yeah, it's definitely adding something there, so let's do that. The rest of it's fine for now. I don't want to add really anything to the ghost notes. The hats I might give a little bit more room to. But not this one. Let's turn this. Ooh, do that. Let's turn this one down. I can't because I've got it automated. Okay, I'm fine with that. And then let's listen to the original one. And back to here. Yeah, this one's just way too loud. One sec. Okay, so now you can hear the difference there. You can hear there's more punch in the snare. Should be a little bit more lower in the kick. It's a little bit more varied. It's not as straight. Different application altogether. Let's try again. The original one. Simple as that. This could go on forever. I could just loop this, and because I've got the automation, I can simply do that, and then it will ask me to copy. I copy. Everything copies across. I could do this all day. What I can do as well is vary the kick slightly. So what we'll do is just put random volumes in there and change them a little bit every now and then. Put that one there. I can do it for the other kick too. Just do that. And snare. This one I'll just do one in the middle. Which you know, let's do one there one there, one there. Okay. And then if I copy again and do that, copy automation, there we go, we've got a loop. And that is drum programming. Simple as that. There's so many more things you can do. I didn't add any crash or large cymbals. I barely varied the cymbals. This is just one demonstration of a track. Obviously, we could maybe do some drum and bass, some more rock and roll. I don't want to do that. Anything really. Let's just see what happens when I double up the hats. So if maybe I want to do that in certain places. So if I just shift click some that I've highlighted, just in any random fashion, no reason, and then I delete, don't erase, see what happens. That's just more variation now, and that is random all the way through. I could do the same thing on the snares. Let's just randomly shift click a few of these. Well, I don't want to shift click too many though. And then that sounds like, I hope I did that right. Yeah, I did. Okay. Back to the original. You can really just hear the difference there. There's a little bit too much going on with reverbs and stuff like that, but for the sake of demonstration, makes sense, you understand. Go and play with it. That's just how that goes. Color coding, you don't have to color code. You also don't have to create these track stacks. That's just my workflow. That's how I do it. You can, if you really wanted, just have them all. That's the wrong one. How do I even do that? One color. If I wanted to, I can just make them all the standard color, whatever it is. Your choice. Do what you want. Up to you. Anyway, thank you. Any more needs and tips and tricks on drum programming, I will make more of. Let me know anything you want to know that's not really covered here that might be a video on its own. I'll do what I can. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.